The real reason networking is fake is because people are literally networking with people they don't actually like in hopes of getting something in return. Hey everyone, Malik here. Welcome back to a brand new video, or welcome to my channel if you're brand new. I'm so grateful you're here. I am a journalism and sociology double major at Ithaca College. Very excited to be making this video for you because networking is something I'm really good at. What was that? Not to go off or anything, but I know a lot of people in my industry. That is something that has come with time, and with that I've learned a lot about networking, and I feel like, especially since it was requested in the comments by Marie on my video on how to get an internship with no experience, I want to make sure that I am sharing these tips. I feel like, hey, if I can help someone out there, that's pretty awesome. I do want to say before we get started that these tips are going to be helpful for you whether you are looking for an internship or whether you're looking for a job after school. All of these tips are going to be able to help you get where you want to go, especially if you're in the communications field. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for those of you that are maybe in a field where it's not so communication related, where people are always on and communicating all the time, and it's easier to find people in that way. But I think that no matter what field you're in, networking matters. I think I'm starting to realize that any field, you're going to need to know people in order to get to where you want. So this video should be helpful to you regardless. My first tip would be to keep up with your industry. Know your industry like the back of your hand. That means, especially if it's journalism, you know the local news reporters in your city, in your town, or whatever it might be. You know nationally what's going on in the industry. You know things that are new, that are popping up. You understand what an MMJ is if you're looking to get into broadcast. You understand how big of a shift things are taking to digital, and how important that is, and how important it is that we're reaching viewers on social media and on digital platforms as well. From there, you can start to hone in on the people that are making those things happen, whether those people are in leadership or whether those people are the faces in terms of like they're on air. Anyone who's working on projects that you're interested in, you should begin to like at least know who they are, even if they don't know you or you've never met them or any of that. That's fine. But I think you should start to know who those people are so that you can begin to follow them on social media. Maybe set up Google alerts. Those can be really, really cool things. You go onto Google, you set up an alert, and it'll let you know whenever something new populates on the internet about the thing that you've set up an alert for, which is pretty cool. I actually have Google alerts set up for my name, which is really helpful in knowing if anyone ever writes about me, if something ever comes up. You can set them up for other people's names. You can set them up for other companies. You can set them up for anything. So that's really, really a helpful tip, is using Google alerts to know your industry. And once you do, and once you start to follow these people, you can say, especially if you're following them on Instagram, I think a really, really cool thing is if, say, you're watching someone on Instagram live, right? They do a live of someone and you're like, I thought that was so interesting. I wish I could connect with this person. You can. I shared in my last video, cold emailing is a thing. Do not hesitate to guess people's emails. I know it can be intimidating, but I would really recommend you not be so afraid to go out there and put yourself out there, knowing that these people have no clue who you are. Cold emailing is part of how I got where I am today, for sure. Even if you're at a conference, if you're at a workplace and you see someone in the hall that you don't get to say hi to, I will tell you one story. One time I was at CNN visiting someone, and I saw Ana Cabrera, because when you walk into CNN, you can see the studio if they're doing CNN newsroom. The set is literally in the newsroom. I saw Ana and I thought, why don't I just email her? I think I emailed her that day, and in the subject line, just saw you on CNN, like at CNN, like in the newsroom, something like that. And she got back right away. If you see someone on Instagram Live, you can put in the email subject line, just saw you on Instagram Live. I love what you said here. I would love to connect with you. I would love for you to check out my work. Anything that is in the moment that you can refer to is super awesome and super easy to establish a connection with someone. But that's only gonna happen if you know to look out for those things, and if you're notified about those things because you're actually following those people. So you wanna make sure that you're actually keeping up to date in order to be able to say, these are the people that I need to know, these are the people that I need to be following in order to make my career go in the way I want it to go. Okay, moving on to the second tip. This tip is something I learned when I was in high school, and it was from Sandy Kenyon at ABC. I went to this event called Get Real for high school students. It inspired me beyond belief. It was put on by our news anchor here, Sade Baderinwa. Put yourself in fortune's way was his word. Literally, I'll sum it up into this. I was at ABC one day, and there are two cafeterias at ABC. There's one at 77 West, which is near the Disney people. And then if you continue down, you just have to walk a little bit more. It is not that far of a walk. If you walk down, you get closer to 47 West cafeteria, which is where the network offices are for ABC News. And so I knew I wanted to be in news. I was there, and I'm pretty sure I kind of knew this before, that I wanted to meet Rebecca Jarvis, who's the chief business technology correspondent. And she was literally in that cafeteria grabbing lunch when I got there. So had I not took those extra steps and went all the way down to that cafeteria, I would not have seen her that day. And so because I took that initiative to put myself in the place where I knew the most fortune was for me in that moment, because I did that, I was able to go up to her on the sandwich line and say, "Hi, I'm a student journalist, I'm in high school, would you mind, if I just got your email," and reached out, and I did. And within a month or so, or whatever it might have been, I was in her office having a conversation about my career while I was in high school. So these tips are very serious. I apply the put yourself in fortune's way thing to everything. If there is somewhere you want to be, or I think the key from this is understanding that proximity is power. The closer you are to the people that are doing what you want to do, to the things you love in this world, whatever you're passionate about, the closer you are in literal distance, the better things are going to be for you. The magic of life, preparation meets opportunity, right? It's not necessarily luck. I don't like to say that things are luck. It's not a coincidence. It's a really, powerful thing to say. I'm going to put myself where I want to be, and I'm going to put myself as close as I can, and I'm going to hope that, things work out. And I think it's kind of along the lines of manifestation and just continuing to put yourself in the place you need to be, doing the work, because had I not had work to show her, I don't know what I would have said, right? And so that's really the next thing that I want to get into. Have work to show. If you go up to someone who is excelling at the network level in their career without anything to say, why would they connect with you? I think a lot of the times people are looking to network, but they haven't done the work to, I don't want to say to be deserving of networking, because clearly someone had to talk to me before I had work, right? But I think at a point, if you need some sort of reel, if you're a student journalist, you need to put together, if you want to be on air, put together a reporter reel. Start getting your stuff together just so that you can show people, right? It's just collecting your work so that you can show people. If you want to do written work, if you want to do print, if you want to do digital, just get samples of whatever you have created. And it does not have to be perfect. Just put your best work. And if your best work is all bad, don't worry, that's okay. I don't think anyone's best work is gonna all be bad, right? I think that, of course, when you're starting, when I was in high school, I look back at those clips and I'm like, especially the bloopers, I was running all over the place trying to do reporting. So it wasn't perfect by any means. Paused for airport announcements. The windy night proved just right for JetBlue. There are a number of people that were delayed today, but the concert really did help alleviate some of that stress. Our flight. I was still figuring out who I was, and I still am, right? Still figuring out how I want to present myself on camera. You have to figure that out, so don't worry, right? And the same thing is going to be for print work. The same thing is going to be for blogging. The same thing is going to be for, marketing samples, right? Like, just coming up with a portfolio, essentially, to make sure that you can share something so that you can ask for critique. I really do cherish, especially because of the amount of people that helped me, any opportunity to help anyone that reaches out to me. And oftentimes it's not about journalism, sometimes it's about journalism, but other times it's a lot about my school and trying to understand more about Ithaca College. And I'm happy to talk about IC as much as I can and to help people on their journey, asking for advice about, what school you want to go to or what internship is best or anything like that. I think people do want to help people, a lot of people at least, right? There are good people in the world. It's just very helpful if you have a specific question. You did this at this point in your career. How did you do that? Insider questions that you want, that show that you're listening and that you're watching the person's work, but that you just want some help, you just want some tips, you want their insight because they're so spectacular. That does wonders for people. People love talking about themselves. It's just up to you to like reach out, and I think they and the universe and God will meet you halfway. Fourth tip. This is huge. I have learned this, I feel like, the hard way. If you do not genuinely like someone and you just think like, oh, they're so cool because like they have 1 million followers, or they're like, you know, an anchor at this huge, they're #1 anchor, don't reach out to them. Reach out to people that you genuinely think are awesome, whether they have 0 followers and no job and like you just find their whatever they do inspiring. There are people in this world that in terms of social media and all of that, that they're not necessarily killing it there, but they're killing it in other areas of their career, or they're killing it in other areas of life and could just be helpful and just be someone good to talk to. And not everyone who's at the top knows what they're doing. Don't let people make you think that because they've reached this, that they are the people that you should be reaching out to. I would only reach out to someone if I genuinely thought they were amazing, and that's what I do now. I think because news networks especially have this really, really beautiful allure, and maybe this is with you, maybe there's this dream internship or dream company or dream person you want to intern for, and they have this allure. That's fine to want to be there, to aspire to be there, to want to work there, but I think only reaching out to those people is not going to, especially if you don't genuinely find them inspiring or genuinely find them interesting, it's going to be much, much harder. And I think that's what's happening is people, the reason why networking comes off fake is not because it's fake or it's hard or it's unnatural to say hello to someone, or it's weird or it's transactional. All those things may be in some way, shape, or form for some people, sure. The real reason networking is fake is because people are literally networking with people they don't actually like in hopes of getting something in return. That is not how you network. If you go into it that way, you will not get the benefits that you were genuinely looking for. My friends, this is a long-term thing. This is not, I network with this person, 10 days later I have a job at the company, I'm their colleague. That's not what this is about. And that's why I think I've been so successful with networking, is because I don't ever think of it as networking. I think I want a genuine relationship with this person. I want them to mentor me. I want their help. I want their advice. I want to support them when times get tough. I want to say congratulations when they get married. I want to say hello to their newborn baby. That's what networking is about. It's not about this, you know, transaction. What can you do for me? I never went in with it with that. If you're late in the game to networking and you go in like, I need an internship, that is a really sure way for someone to turn away. It is really a lot. I think now that I'm getting older, oh my gosh, literally in college. Now that I'm growing though, I realize how much of a weight it can be to be reaching out on behalf of someone. That is a lot, especially if that person is reaching out to someone higher. You really are sticking your neck out there for someone. I really, really do feel for, like, if I was in the position of, oh my God, who do I reach out to? At least I would have years of a good relationships with people that are years ahead of me in the industry to say, hey, I would love your help with this. I would love to know where you think I should apply. Would you connect me to this person if you know them? That is not something people are gonna do for anybody, or even people you could know for years who would not know necessarily how to introduce you or just not be comfortable. If you go into it with a transactional mindset, maybe you'll get the transaction, but that is not a way to grow in the industry. That's not a long-term way to grow, because those people that connect you, you want them to want to stay in touch with you. You want them to be your friends and your supporters and have your back. You don't want people to be like, oh, he just used me for an internship. We never stayed in touch after he got the job, or, you know what I mean? Like, that is not, you don't want that on your reputation. You really want to be someone who they can trust. Editing Malik here. Just wanted to pop in and say that if you are specifically looking for a job or an internship, it is okay to reach out to someone saying, do you have availability open? Like, here's my resume, blah, blah, blah. But that's not necessarily networking I'm talking about here. I'm talking about like long-term actually building relationships with people, which is what networking is, whereas that would be what I just described to you about emailing someone specifically for a job, which is fine if they're like a recruiter or like a boss or a manager of some sort, and you're like, do you have an opening for this thing? Or can I help your team? Like, that's fine, and that's technically networking, but it's not like growing your network in the way that I'm talking about it here. If you really do need a job right now, be honest, right? Reach out, say, I really love your work, but I'm gonna be honest right now, I do need an internship, and I did want to know if you have any ideas of that. But I do also want to stay in touch with you because I think you're amazing. Making it very clear that you don't want it to be just a transactional thing is going to be really important. But follow up and stay in touch. You want to make sure that you are following up with people. I feel like when the seasons change is when I know to reach out to people. When it's like winter versus summer versus fall, I'm like, okay, I know I can like reach out now. Hi, how are you? I did this amazing piece. I would love your thoughts on it. I've been working really hard on this. What have you been up to? Showing genuine interest. And that's gonna come when you are genuinely interested. If you're not, it's not gonna come for you. It's not, and then it's gonna be very, very hard to develop the relationship. So I would say follow up, stay in touch. A lot of people, they meet someone, they drop the ball. Don't be that person. People want people who are going to continue to stay in touch, who they can foster, who they can watch grow. Watching someone's journey, think about the people you're following on social media right now, whose content you love. You are following their life journey. And that's what's so cool. It's a story and you're getting to watch it unfold and be a part of it if you were in someone's life, even if it's just in a mentorship, networking, friendship capacity. Be wanting to grow and to grow your industry reach and to grow your friends and to learn from your colleagues in the industry, to learn from people who came before you. Be so into that and that shows and that shines through, and people will be more than happy, I think, to talk with you. And that's gonna do it for me. Thank you big time for being here. I really appreciate you. I would love it if you gave this video a big thumbs up if it helped you or if you enjoyed it. Also subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot to me. I am trying to grow on here. And yeah, I'm sending you the highest vibes, and I will see you on Friday. Later.
If you're good together, don't you think?
No.
Why?
Because I'll break your heart.
Maybe I'll break yours.
Nobody breaks my heart.